far as that goes, that means we get access to the well as soon as that comes. We're going to talk a little bit about the well later on, as far as like what we're going to allow and not allow within there. The last thing that we're going to do is basically look at chance of success. Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, pun intended, I am going to explain everything as far as the philosophy of how to look at this playthrough going forward, as well as what I'm going to look for within the well. So, let's start with the well. Well, what is the well? The well is a feature that was introduced for free on your Xbox on 1.3. No, it doesn't matter if you have the oldest Xbox known to man. It is still free on your Engage game, and your game is likely updated to 1.3 anyway. The well has bountiful drops that can aid the player in their playthrough. The issue is that the randomness of the well itself. That alone might not settle well with people who look for reliability in playthroughs. That said, the well offers a few interesting items. The problem is, some of these interesting items are what low turn count players crave for. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining how the well works. If you'd like, you could check out the information in the description from Serenus Forest. I'll detail a couple of the tiers though, because they're warrant for some discussion. Let's start with tier 2. This is where I think some people who are well curious will look into if they don't want to put a lot of investment. Keep in mind that you can get less than what you put in. The items you get are iron weapon related, so for the most part you can get the same value back, and the novice book is about 75% of a drop, and adept book is a 30%. The novice book is a book that gives 100 SP for a one-time use on one unit, and the adept book is for 500. For the most part, this one is probably the easiest to maintain out of the tiers and still offers an okay reward at that. So, let's go ahead and talk about tier 3. This is the tier that interests me specifically. For 5,000 gold, you can get some steel weapons, iron blade equivalents, killing edge equivalents, and some effective weaponry as well. You also increase your novice book chances to a guarantee, with adept book going up to 50% and an expert book jumping to a 10%. Now, I'm sure you're thinking that everything here looks pretty good. We even get freeze, whereas the last tier had obstruct, except, what's this? Is that a rewarp? So yeah, as you can see, there's a rewarp, but you can see what the problem lies ahead. A difficult decision for someone like me to make. When I heard about the well, I didn't really think much about the ramifications on the items that you get there. The skill books alone were pretty good to where any player, even low turn count players, would go for it just to get some extra SP for good skills. The rewarp being there changes a lot though. Now, rewarp isn't accessed normally until after chapter 8. Actually, let's make a correction on that with this particular playthrough. With downloadable content involved, rewarp, warp, and rescue can be obtained as early as Tiki's map. Now, anyone that has done low turn count will tell you the myriad of issues of doing Tiki's map. So I'm sure many people are curious as far as what are the issues of doing Tiki's map. Well, first off, it's optional. The second problem is that in low turn count aspect, it costs a lot of turns to get through. The band offers no real time savings, and some of the other DLC items are questionable at that, which, to be fair, I'm trying to look and see if there is any time savings with it. And the map itself is, well, it's very annoying. I'm not even looking forward to doing the map. I did have some reservations on if you could obtain the staff early on, because if you look at tier 4, there's Entrap. Now there has been some testing. The thing is that Entrap has a pretty high chance to drop at 10%. It would drastically change a lot of the maps, because not many bosses have anchor. That is, until some testing was done with VincentASM, trying to get Entrap by chapter 10. Even when the chances of getting it were modified to 100%, there is no method of obtaining it through the well. It also sounds like this affects Nodus, which is in tier 5. Nodus is also notable for DLC because Edelgard has Raging Storm, and after you use Raging Storm, you basically disengage. So you could use the Nodus staff to re-engage right away on the next turn. At the time with Entrap, I thought it was impossible to get these staves. It appears though that Cabin XS were able to find out that you can get rewarp and other staves such as warp and rescue as soon as the well is allowed. This information changes a lot because it makes what were going to be very scary benchmarks to find in Chapter 8, for example, a lot easier to manage because we get access to rewarp. Bear in mind this doesn't change Chapter 7 because the well is readily available at the start of Chapter 7 and you have to have an entire map playthrough before you get anything new. So, what does that all entail? I'm going to be using the well in order to get rewarp as soon as possible. And the thing is that before getting that, at least with Chapter 7, I may look at chance of success with that particular map and evaluate if I need to take it at least a turn slower just to keep the success at 100% in exchange of getting rewarp faster. We'll see how things go as far as that is going to happen. But I figured that I wanted to put this out there because there are things that do change with the information presented, and I want it to be known why that information changes how this playthrough is looked at. Anyway, this has been Colonel M. Thank you all for watching, and have yourself a great day.